Discover Newport looks back at the history and development of the city. Today in our inaugural episode, Carlton James visits one of the biggest drivers in growth and wealth, Pillgwenlly and the Newport Docklands.
Discover Newport is a monthly series which looks back at the history of the city. In our inaugural episode, we look back at one of the biggest contributors to the growth of the city, Pillgwenlly and the Docklands. In the earlier years of Newport, Pillgwenlly and the docks was the heart of industrial and commercial life. In the 1800s, Pillgwenlly was an uninhabited marshland, just at the start of its development.
In 1805, an extension of the Monmouthshire Canal south of Newport Bridge to Pill was agreed. A lease was granted and in 1810 Commercial Road was built. With the canal extension complete in 1812, this saw the construction of Cardiff Road.
The name Pillgwenlly derives from two words, Pill meaning sea ditch and Gwenlly from the fourth generation pirate who kept his boat in this area.
1817 saw numerous constructions. 1835 saw the ambitious plans for a new town dock get full parliamentary approval.
At this period, maritime industry dominated Newport, with coal and iron being exported all across the world. In 1835, the original wharf was so overcrowded, it was decided that all shipping would be moved to the newly excavated town dock.
8 years later, the town dock was opened.
The town dock was opened in 1842, but became overcrowded and work began extending.
This was fueled by the expanding coal trade and improved rail links. The town outgrew its capacity and an extension was added in 1858.
In 1875, Alexandra Dock was built, but this was also deemed inadequate and unable to cope with the load of exported coal rising massively.
Massive maritime trade saw the population rise as immigrants from Ireland came for a better life.
A new South Quay entrance was built, making it the second largest in the world. At the turn of the century, Newport's docks was one of the largest in the world.
As exports in coal and iron ore soared, in 1893 Alexandra Docks saw a new South Quay opened. It was in the 1900s that saw a need for a new engineering feat to be built. An expanding industry needed a workforce which had commute problems. Bridge was needed, but it had to be special. Robert Haynes convinced the council the answer lay in France. They set about creating the iconic Transporter Bridge, an engineering masterpiece that's over 108 feet wide. The workers from the east side could quickly get into work. At 272 feet high, the bridge solved the problem of large ships passing underneath.
The South Dock had been extended in 1907, but ships still had to pass through the old entrance from the River Usk. Work began on a new entrance, the Great Sea Lock. The sides of the trench were supported with timbers, which collapsed on the afternoon of July 2nd, 1909. Tom Toyer Lewis, a 14-year-old newspaper delivery boy, he volunteered to descend through a narrow opening to try and free a workman called Fred Baddill. Received the Albert Medal, Britain's highest award for a peacetime gallantry. The new lock extension, or Great Sea Lock, now allowed shipping to enter the docks directly from the Bristol Channel for the first time ever. In 1922, control of the docks was passed over to the Great Western Railway Company. The decision was taken to concentrate resources on Alexandra Docks, and in 1930 the town dock was closed. During the Second World War, the dock facilities at Newport played an important role in refuelling. On 1st of January 1948, control passed to the British Transport Commission. In August 1964, all coal shipping at Newport ceased. 1958 saw the boom in the docks again, as exports of iron ore from Lamwern continued to grow. In 1980, the Jamaica terminal was built to handle the import of Jamaican bananas.
Transport mode of the day in the early 1900s was the electric tram, pictured here in Alexandra Road.
Today the docks is owned by the Associated British Ports and handles a wide variety of general cargo, including timber, minerals, ores and more steel products. Directly opposite Newport docks on Alexandra Road is the Waterloo Hotel, built in 1870. This marvellous historic building still looks the same today as when it did at the turn of the last century.